Hey guys, Alex here, ajnashville.com, here again with my co-host, Mr. Greg Pease.
As always, excited to be here, and we partially prepped we start prepping. We always kind of spend a little bit of time to make sure that what we're giving you has some direction and value, so we're not just getting on here and listening to our sexy voices on the mic. We kind of partially prepped today, and then we realized, man, this is so good, we need to roll it organic.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited to share this one out, and it really has to do with how you can. We all face challenges in different manners and different depending on your life, your job, your situation. It might be at home. We all face challenges, right? And then how do we overcome those? How do we get past those challenges? How do we create the solution? See, some of us go for an approach where we ask for I'm using the, we all know, I think maybe know the term, give a man a fish, eats for a day, teach a man a fish. So some of us look to be given a fish. Like, How do we solve this right now?
The easy way.
The easy way.
Yeah.
But if we teach ourselves with each one of these problems how to fish, then long term we never have to face these problems again. Like every time we teach ourselves how to fish with the problem, we own that skill forever.
Right. Well, and a lot of that has to do with just educating yourself. The things you need to know, you will retain. The things you need to know for now, you may retain to a certain degree. There's videos, there's things I've done throughout life that I'm like, how do I do that? And literally I can jump on YouTube and put how to do this. And there's a million videos on it, and I'll watch it and I'll do it and I'll execute it. And then I don't need to know that task again for several years, but it may be familiar, and I can go back and refer to another training thing or video or something like that.
Well, and even let's give you. So there's two things that that highlighted to me when you said that. For one is you found a need before you asked a question.
Right.
You said, "How do I do this?" You didn't go in and say, "How do I build a house?"
Yeah.
For example, when you were building the house and you realized the nails kept popping back up on the floor. I don't know. I'm not a builder, y'all. But that's when you said, "Hey, how do I make the nails stop popping on the floor?" That task.
Yeah.
Even though you might not be building the next house for 7 years from now, even though you might not need that task for 7 years from now, you own the confidence that you were able to figure out how to accomplish that. You don't need to remember exactly how to make nails not pop. That's all hypothetical.
No, and I think that's a good point, because identifying the problem will help identify the solution. So literally, like you said, if, hey, my issue is that nails keep popping out of the floor, you're not going to do research on a different nail. You may do research on what is causing that. What is my root
What
here?
type of wood are you using? What type of nail are you using? What is the temperature? I mean, and this is very specific to your situation.
Mm-hmm.
And by being invested in the situation, maybe physically invested through action or energy, but definitely mentally, you're intimately involved with this process.
Yeah.
By doing so, you are not only going to be very clear on the help that you ask for,
Right.
But B, you're also very receptive because your goal is to solve this problem.
This problem, yeah.
But if and let me take it a step further. If we didn't have, so some of us, before we have a problem, we want the answers, and that would be the easy way. So, for example, if we could talk about it monetarily, I'm going to use the gym. We use gym analogies a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So if someone was maybe they were overweight, or maybe they are very skinny complex and wanted to build muscle, either way, but they wanted to change their physique, whichever way it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they were to just come up to me and say, "Hey, Greg, I want to build more muscle," or "Hey, Greg, I want to lose some weight," how do I do it?
Yeah.
I don't even know where to like. Do you have like all day and like some notepads I can like? And where should we start?
And books.
I mean, but like, where do we even start? Do we start talking about nutrition? Do we start talking about exercise? Do we start talking about your rest plan? Do we start talking about your supplementation? Like, where do we even start at?
Right.
And however, if you were to go to the gym and you were eating X, Y, and Z, and you're doing A, B, and C at the gym, and 2 weeks down the road, you're not losing weight. If you brought A, B, and C and X, Y, and Z to me, I can make small tweaks to them so you can now go off and be receptive to progress.
Well, and let's, I think that's a great analogy, actually, and I'm going to dive into another one that you sort of brought up. But to say that, the diet plan that you'll have an individual that is bulking and trying to put on muscle is going to be very different than the diet plan that you have an individual that is leaning out and cutting. Those are two different diet plans. Those are two different workouts. Those are, I mean, you have individuals that are into overtraining. You have individuals that are into doing more, repetition and one step after another kind of, what's it called? where they're going
The
to
HIIT
different
training?
machines.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
basically
yeah,
the
yeah.
circuit training,
Yep.
you know, all that. So yes, a very defined understanding that you can't just go up to you, like you said, and said, I want to lose weight. Okay, well, what's your end goal?
Like,
What do you
where-
want to
yeah,
look like?
yeah.
You know, is your end goal like you just want to get rid of fat, or do you want to replace fat with muscle? You know, so identifying the specific problem is going to help you find the solution.
Well, what if I said, if you said I want to lose weight, and what if I said, okay, just eat 1,000 calories a day?
Yeah.
I mean, scientifically speaking,
will lose weight.
if you take in less calories than you burn, you
Right.
will have to lose weight. Scientifically speaking,
Yeah.
that's not the answer you were looking for, and the dilemma is you didn't find a specific problem yet.
Right, right. Well, and so you kept saying this word, and this word is magical to me because this is a word that I wanted to get involved in at a point in my life, and that's investing. Now, you were using this as investing in yourself, investing in this, but literally the term investing. So there came a point in my life, and this is actually not too long ago. This was earlier this year, the beginning of 2020. I was sitting there and I was like, and mind you, this had happened a couple times in previous years over the past decade, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, I really want to get into investing. But what I found myself doing was shooting in the dark. And when you shoot in the dark, depending on how big the area is that you're shooting at, you may hit a target or you may severely miss a target. Well, when you're talking about money, that severe miss is pretty impactful. So I decided that I wanted to get better at reading technical analysis and understanding trends and candlesticks. And I mean, the list goes on and on and on, but I was very specific in wanting to understand candlesticks and what they represented. That's what I knew. Like, that's my method of training or trading is candlesticks. And so what I did is I started YouTubing videos. Right now I can pull up my phone and I guarantee there's a YouTube video about investing on there right this minute. But I started to watch them, and then there's a guy named Andrew Jick, I think is his name. He's a trader, and I watched all his videos. And then I got books. I got the Technical Analysis for Dummies. You know, I talked to a buddy of mine that's into trading. He recommended some other books. Like, I decided if I'm going to go down this path, because my problem was I was shooting in the dark and losing money. My solution was I needed to find books specifically geared towards my end goal.
And yeah, and you figured out you got really. I say really. I mean, you got fairly specific in a niche that you wanted to figure. Like I'm gonna take it back to the gym analogy. If someone said, "Hey, I need to lose fat," okay, not weight. I need to lose fat while maintaining my energy levels because I have 3 kids at home.
Yep.
See now that starts. You know that wherever you're asking for that source of information, you know, now we can set proper expectations. Like, hey, we're only gonna be losing maybe about a pound a week instead of 2.5 pounds, like your friend. Right. But you're gonna have more energy levels. But through what you're doing, even on the investing side, you found a specific way that you were going to capitalize on how you invest it. Mm-hmm. You realized a very specific need for information, and then you went out and sought that piece of information.
Right. Well, and I want to Barney this down even more for somebody. This is something you and I have both experienced. So I'm gonna take this down. We're going to remove the investing. We're going to remove the weight loss and all that. And I want to talk about being broke, okay? So when we talk about challenges, being broke, I'm sure just about everybody listening to this, except maybe like a random person here or there, has all been broke before.
Yep.
The first thing you need to ask yourself is, why am I broke? Okay? Am I broke because I'm spending $200 every weekend at the club and showing off and everything else? Am I broke because I'm not working? Am I broke because I have too many financial obligations? Like, why am I broke?
Essentially, I mean, and even kind of boiling it down to maybe just 2 groups, maybe, or correct me if this wouldn't help. But are we broke because of our income or our outgoing?
That's powerful in itself, because our outgoing is typically, if you stop the bleeding, then you will make it. You know,
right.
In the crudest way to say things, like literally, if you stop the bleeding, you might be okay. So if you stop the Starbucks, maybe instead of doing the wash package at the car wash, you know, you wash your car by hand, like distilling these issues down to the simplest form, I believe by doing that, you're challenging yourself and finding a solution for whatever your issues are.
Well, and I love it. I fully agree. And it just that, like, you are finding a solution, and I believe because you're finding that specific problem.
Right.
You didn't
right.
say, how do I not be broke?
Yeah.
Like, what if, like, seriously, because there's really people doing it. Like, maybe some of you that are listening. but no, there's people making 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a month. I know it sounds crazy to some people. There's people doing that and so much more, and then spending even more than that each month.
Oh, for sure.
So if that person was to say, you know, how do I not, you know, because believe it or not, as crazy as it sounds, you know, that's the same level as broke as someone that doesn't have it coming in.
100%. Yeah.
However, the solution is different for both of them.
Amen.
And,
you know,
and identifying the problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's huge, because that definition, I'm broke, like you said, it can go. It could be the same for the guy making $50,000 a month to the guy that makes $500 a month, you know, or the girl or whoever. That problem can be the same. The solution, again, like you said, could be different. You know, and that's the thing, because the person making $500 a month isn't looking at the person making $50,000 a month thinking, no, there's no way he can be broke. He's rich. He makes $50,000 a month. That guy's $600,000 a year. He's rich. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. And maybe his problem or her problem isn't even their spending as much as it is their habits, their obligations, I mean, you never know.
100%. 100%.
So if you
Absolutely.
distill down your problem, that's the biggest thing. Identify, distill it down to the simplest form, and then figure out a solution. And again, everything, I'm telling you, you can find just about everything either in a book or YouTube. Like YouTube.
And I'm going to throw one more thing out there. Like, there's a human that went through a absurdly similar thing that you're going through.
Right.
And when you know how to ask them very clearly, they're going to give you the answers.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And that's the one thing we know about mentors is mentors are always there to offer help. I don't know of a single person. Literally, I talked to my cousin 2 days ago, and he's going back full time into the mortgage industry. He's kind of been moonlighting in and out, you know, doing some other things and doing mortgages on the side. And he's asking me questions. And there's a mindset where an individual would be like, well, I'm not going to answer those questions, because if I answer those questions, he's going to start doing it, and then he's going to take business from me.
Right.
Or there's the abundance mindset. You're like, bro, there's tons of business out here. We're not even in the same markets. What do you want to know? I'm going to share it all to you. I would share it all with my competitor down the road.
100%.
Because for one, we know, and you brought this up earlier, where people, they leave it at the workshop.
Yeah.
For one.
Yeah, sadly, that's just going to be true.
They're not going to implement it.
That's just the
more
way
than
it is.
likely.
Yeah.
But for two, like, that person's going to remember. There's going to be an unspoken loyalty there that, hey, you know what? This dude helped me out. I'm not going to go and try to take business from him because he helped me.
Right,
you know,
right.
So I'm going to go find my own and use my method. So the thing is you know, there's a mindset that people out there that can help won't help, and I think that's completely false. Now, what I will say is this: don't come up to me and ask me a very simplistic question that you can easily find the answer to, and expect just a vat of information for me to give to you. Like, if we used to have this back in the day, where people would come up and they'd be like, "Hey, what's the down payment on FHA?" And you're like, "Seriously? Like, did you pass your test?" Because everybody knows 3.5%. And so you give them that answer, thinking you're being helpful, and 2 weeks later, the same question would come. And so eventually, you're just a resource.
Right,
they're not even
right.
doing research anymore. They're not even trying to look it up. They have a problem. They come directly to you, and they're, "Hey, problem solver, solve this for me." You're not allowing those people to think for themselves. And so if you're that individual that comes up to ask for that guideline week after week after week, you have to start thinking for yourself.
And think about something that would I believe this will add value for it. Give it a shot. I mean, I don't know for sure. What about when you go at, so we talked about identify what that specific thing is that you want help with, or the answer to. What is that thing that you need to learn how to fish on, right? Identify what it is specifically. And then also come up with a solution on your own. I don't care how bad it is. I mean, horrible, like just whatever you got. And then take that to your mentor and say, "Hey, here's the problem that I have. Here's the solution that I thought of. What do you have?"
Right.
Dude, they're gonna shower upon you. They're gonna be like, "Man, that you're dead on," and that's gonna reassure you.
Yes.
Or they're gonna be like, "Hey, let me shift you just a little bit right here."
100%.
But they're gonna love and they're gonna appreciate the respect for their time that you gave when you already even came with a solution for the problem.
Right. And that's huge. I mean, because people can identify that, hey, this person's trying. You know,
Right.
I've seen it before. You'll be at the gym and there's somebody over there and they're doing, you know, preacher curls and their elbows aren't in the right spot, or the bench isn't up high enough. And I've seen people that are clearly in really, really good shape walk over there and say, you know, "Hey, put this up another notch and do it like this, and you'll see that you'll get a better result off of it. And those are people identifying, like, dude, this guy's trying or this girl's
Absolutely.
trying. Let me help you just this much.
Just a small tweak, because most of us, it is just a small tweak. We don't know that we neglect it most of the time, but our next level up is probably just a small tweak.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that was great content.
Dude, that was really good. I think
Yeah.
that was powerful. I really hope that everyone's able to take something a big away from that, and really, I hope this podcast alone has the seed of opportunity for you to level up.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna, as always, closing thoughts.
Honestly, and I'm just gonna double. I really hope this podcast has that seed of opportunity for you to level up. I hope you are able to implement what we gave you today. Find something very specific that you're looking for, and go out and learn how to fish with it.
Yep. My biggest thing is this, get around the people that you want to be around. And what I mean by that isn't don't start hanging out with people just because you want to be around those people, but because you want to be like those people.
Right.
Because those are people that are going to provide to you answers without even knowing that they're providing you answers. Right. If you want to get in shape, hang around with other people that want to get in shape, because inadvertently they're going to be like, hey, bro, I know you're doing this, do this,
Right.
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 And so you'll start – I always look around at my sphere of influence and I think to myself, are these people trying to achieve the same thing I am? And if they're not, then I need to decide if I'm going to invest time with those people or not. Because at the end of the day, if you don't challenge yourself and the people around you, what value are you providing? If you're literally sitting there as a bump on the log and your other bumps on the log are doing the same thing, don't expect to ever move. You're always going to be in the same place. But if you're challenging yourself and others are challenging you as well, and you have a way to go to the next level, there's no questions asked. You can obtain that level. I said this in a post the other day, and I want to share this with the listeners. There was a point in my life where I didn't even think I could ever own a home. Literally, I thought my whole life I would just be a renter. I'd rent from other people, poor me. To the point where, we've done some investment opportunities, some flip homes, things like that. Like, never in my life did I see myself where I am today, but never in my life did I give up on trying to get to the next level, and then the next level, and then the next level. So all I'm saying is, once you feel like you've achieved the level you want to receive or want to be on, look at the next level up and challenge yourself on, how do I get from here to there? Again, I never thought I'd own a home, let alone have investment properties and everything else.
Man, that's huge value.
So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Hope this message finds you well. Let us know if there's anything that you would like us to expand on. If not, look out for our next podcast next Friday. Thanks.